Good morning, my fellow travelers on spaceship Earth. It is I. Don't really need the scene transitions console. I'm like looking at all these consoles that I have going for this, and I'm like, I don't need these. Good morning, Booma. All these I don't have transitions. I never really care. There we go. I can probably just get rid of them now. I don't know where I put them. How do I get rid of these? Can I close it? I am now fighting with with OBS here. I'm like, I don't need the scene transitions thing, so can I just get rid of it? No, I guess I can't. There is no getting rid of this. You're not allowed to. It does make me wonder, though. What kind of transition can I have? Oh, I can have cut or fade. Well, I like fade. What if I like fade? I like these fade transitions. I'm like, ooh, 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 ooh. Not a dumb question. It is done right now in a format that isn't quite watertight. I think there's holes in it. But there is an STL format being formed by Brent, because he wants to print it. So once we have that, if you would like one, I will happily send one your way. I will send it to you. Oh, can I do swipes though? That'd be cool. Oh, we can do Star Wars type swipes. We should do that. There. Okay, see, now I'm having way too much fun. See, this sounds like a great thing. What if I made it slower? Just like really slow. What, I can't go. I was just saying. It's okay, this is way too much fun and probably stupid excessive. What if I added, stinger. I can do a stinger. Oh, I have to do all of the other things. I don't want to do a stinger. But I do like swipe. I think that's funny. And now I'm entertained. Far more entertained than I probably ought to be, but my whole thing is they let me do this, so, you know. So now I have to go. And now we will transfer to jump work. And you'll even see another ship showing up in this particular comic, because we're going to need to deal with some other spacecraft at some point here. I built a Commonwealth ship, but now I'm thinking I won't be using it. What kind of 3D printer did you get, Booma? I'm actually kind of curious. Is it a resin or is it filament? Nice. Ender 3. It's interesting to think that, yeah, single filament. Interesting to think that there is a company out there which pretty much entirely, its name would normally be considered bad except for one book. Right? Because I mean, like, if it was like, my company is called the Suicider, people would be like, what? Wait, what? You're doing what? Then it'd be, yeah. But if you had like this cool book, which, you could call your company after the main character. Just find that fascinating. Yeah. I mean, I technically have them as 3D models, so I could certainly give you, an STL of the characters. In fact, now that I've said that, I'm kind of like, what? Like a garage kit or something would be kind of cool. I need to practice with making 3D too. Oh, there you go. Kira, I think, is one of those, I don't know. I don't know what it's like, how well it does supports and stuff like that. That's usually the defining factor for me um, in when it comes to printing programs. How well does it think out supports? If you like say, "Hey, automatically support this," and it just does this jumble of junk trying to hold stuff up, then I'm like, yeah. All right. That's totally cool. I'm just, I feel like that's like my defining factor, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm very new to printing myself. I've got a photon over here, and it's just, it's a new thing. I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe I don't want that. Right? Right? Yeah. That's, I think, what all of us end up doing at some point. Oh yeah, somebody needs to design that and build it. Like the picture on the bottom left of the screen there. Have that printed. That's fair. And that duck down there on the left wouldn't be that hard to model for me, so I could probably do that at some point. Hey, Brent. Brent is finally here. It's going to be weird when you're gone for the whole week or whatever. Yeah, but I mean, Booma can try to at least print if it, it depends on how big, I guess. If you print the ship, that's fair. It still would be just kind of used to be missed, I think the discussion we were having already here might be useful. This one right here. No, this one. This is where I really think it is. Because this page is really powerful. I kind of like it. So what I think I will do is just steal this page here, and put it over here somewhere. And we can. Because I kind of have a feeling that the only problem I've got is of these 16 pages, this is 4 pages of real action and then like people talking to each other for many, many pages. So I feel like I should break it up a little. Right? That's what I'm trying to think about here is like, what should I put in between these two? Because if nothing else, I really love the statement that she makes there where it's a good left slide red herring. You know what I mean? But I feel like the whole discussion of, could she be from the early colonies? So, like from, landing on Silver Cove. Could she be from Silver Cove? That should be between Mayrel and Navin. I can move that over so it's 2 other characters talking about it. And so it makes her a sleeper. Okay, why is she a sleeper? Why do you think she's a sleeper? Well, this, that, the other thing. I'm going to probably redesign it a little bit so it's not quite the same. But again, I feel like there's just missing some action on this that needs to happen before we cut back. Yeah, I think Mayrell would be one who would see, she would have seen stuff like this before. She's Deastati, so since she wanders the galaxy anyway in their own mothership, she would have seen sleepers. And so she would have known who a sleeper is, people who go into cryogenic freeze and end up sleeping away hundreds of years. So she would have known that, and that'd be something she'd probably pick up on. And you're right, Navin being a newbie to the world, only about 3 years old, he wouldn't know that kind of thing. Easily, anyway. But breaking those two scenes up, you know what? I'm going to just go ahead and pull the scenes between Bennett and, because this whole sequence here could be useful on that one, where Bennett's talking about it, and this sequence here, these 2 pages. Everything up to the Earth thing. Yeah. Although this was really cute that Bennett kept stealing all of her food. Now, this was a cute scene, but I think it's probably going to need, we could shorten it down quite a bit. Because see, here we referenced that Ensign Kamen looked up that we stopped using English about 480 years ago. This could be straightforward. Because then we could just have Mayrell say, maybe she's a sleeper. And then Kamen could say, well, we stopped using English about 480 years ago. So in order for her to get here in 480 years, she would have had to have traveled at no more than 50% the light speed. And then stop. And then Mayrell could say, that's more than 320 years for the people on board ship. And you know what I mean? Like, that would be shorter and much, much more succinct. And it would be a short blast of technobabble instead of this long 2-page blast of technobabble. I kind of like that better. Because then you've got then we could have, I don't know, maybe they made a lot of stops. Like that could be Navin's line. And then Mayrell's like, so her family stops at a planet discovered they messed up translating into end space. They said everything correctly and then do it again. You know what I mean? Like, that would be better. And then the part between the captain talking about her will be these 2 pages can easily fit in here. Kind of a bummer. It's a cute page by itself. But, you know, we do what we have to. So this probably needs to be Navin. I don't think there'd be that much. The only problem is not humans. Humans wouldn't be sleepers necessarily, because they entered the Federation later, or whatever, if you want to call it the Federation. They entered the Unity later on, after in-space engines. I mean, before the jump drives, but after the in-space engines had been invented. So humans wouldn't be sleepers. I'm feeling like this premise is probably okay to explain this way, but I'm kind of. Mhm. The only reason I'm pausing here is I feel like there might be a better, I don't know. I'm just trying to think through. Like I said, I don't mind where we're going here, but I feel like we've got an awful lot of boring single pages without something happening. This is such a dramatic start. I feel like this scene might actually fit up here. Which we're going to have to redraw anyway, so, might as well move it. Which would be good, because this would only be a 4 or so page scene. There we go. She could have come from a sleeper ship. And then he could reply, a human sleeper? That'd be a new one. And then he goes, humans joined the Unity after the MT drive was invented. Why would you choose to sleep when you can travel on in space? I like that a little bit better. I mean, I really love this interchange of, well, they said everything correct and then jumped and then they did it again and they messed up and jumped and did it again and they messed up, But it's back to the, why would you do this? I like that. I mean, I hate losing all this beautiful dialogue, but I like that better. I also like this a human sleeper, because I mean, if you think about it, Mayrel will have thought of sleeper ships because she will have run into, from time to time, Jessine sleepers or Shakrana sleepers, or even probably Najor sleepers, but she wouldn't make the immediate connection that humans might not have been in a sleeper, because she would have just thought, oh yeah, we ran into that one sleeper back, when I was like 10 years old. We had to like wake up all those Shakrana and they were all really confused as to what was going on. She wouldn't have thought about it in any other way. In her mind's eye, she'd be like, a sleeper's a sleeper. And then Navin would be the one that goes, but a human sleeper? That's weird, Yeah. So I like that kind of thought process. And she's like, oh, yeah. That's a solid point, Kind of like, we found these people. They were traveling with a horse and buggy. Although we've got Amish, so you'd find people out there that are traveling via horse and buggy. All right, moving back into here and back to black. And in black. Okay. Add. I mean, we are weird. Humans are weird. We had folks that traveled by animal and carriage long after the invention of the automobile. There we go. That fixed it. So, okay. So we've got Navin says, humans joined the Unity after the MT drive was invented. Why would you choose to sleep when you can travel in space? And Mayrel says, I mean, humans are weird. We had folks that traveled by animal and carriage long after the invention of the automobile. And then Navin retorts and says, yeah, but you didn't run a 30% risk of death riding in a horse and buggy. There we go. That implies that cryogenic freeze travel is really not pleasant. We'll have to fix that when we get to this scene, but we'll fix it. Right? Right? Like, it just doesn't sound like it would work as well for us. Great for Najor. They just call it a bath. They become their own little cube of goo. Frozen goo. Yay, Najor. The Shockrunner are like, whatever. I don't know. Jacine probably wouldn't. I wonder if you could freeze Jacine in by just dropping them to room temperature, because the Jacine live high pressure, high temperature. Wouldn't like our room temperature be cryogenic freeze for them? In fact, that would be kind of interesting to note. You could put them. We could even have something down the road, a story part where it says, all we need to do is drop their temperature to room temperature. Yeah, exactly. It'd be kind of an interesting side story. You got a Jacine, and you're like, look, all I need you to do is take off your spacesuit. And the Jacine would be like, what? That sounds bad. And they're like, no, you don't understand. Yeah, you'll be at room temperature for me, which is normal, but that'll put you in cryogenic stasis. That'd be kind of cool. If we do this right, I can just sit you on the chair here and take care of you, and we'll make sure all's good. That'd be kind of a trip. That would be a nice side story. The in-space drive, by the way, is called the Mason Tele drive. The only reason I'm saying that is because I invented this particular space travel, when I was in junior high, and it was called the Mason Tele Field at that point in time. But I have now renamed it because one of the things that I love, the charm of Bellatrix Rising, is that all of these things are all of these stories are a conglomeration of stuff that I invented when I was a kid. And so I kind of like that some of the names hold over and some of the characters hold over, and I can repurpose them, and right? Well, that's what I was thinking, was like, it's like Mayrel and Bob the Jacine, and he's like sitting there going, well, we've got a power problem. And Mayrel's like, yeah, we can run on low power and that'll support me, but looks at the Jacine looks at her. I don't like that look, and she's like, no, this will work. Look, we could just bring you to what? I don't know. That'd be kind of funny. It could be a really cool little, just a one-off, 6-pager or something. It just gives you a little bit of an idea of where the Jacine come from. Yeah. And maybe it has like drawbacks. Like if you take a Jacine out of its spacesuit, it can live, but like all the arms and tentacles fall off, which they can regrow. But they don't regrow. It can be medical science, right? A guest raider. Like through medical science, you can have your limbs regrown. So it's not the preferred way to do this because it's not going to be fun, Right there goes my hair. Oh, my hair fell out. All right. So though cute because Bennett's eating all of Chang's food. I do kind of like the and this is better too because Mirel now. Oh, that's true. No, this isn't happening. Okay. The math doesn't add up. Silver Cove is about 270 light years from here, right? Yes. And we stopped using English about 480 years ago. So, in order for her to get here in 480 years, she would have had to have traveled no more than 50% light speed. And then you have Meirel go, okay, that's more than 320 years for the people on board the ship. And then, well, let's get this to make sense. Well, maybe she was from a sleeper ship. And then Nevin goes, a human sleeper? That'd be a new one. Humans joined the Unity after the EMT drive was invented. Why would you choose to sleep when you can travel and in space? I mean, humans are weird. We had folks that traveled by animal carriage long after the invention of the automobile. Then Navin says, yeah, but you don't run a 30% risk of death riding a horse and buggy. Okay, that is weird. You know what I mean? Like that fits a lot better. And it's a smooth move there. I mean, like it all moves smoothly through that. And we get a good chunk of technobabble out, which just moves. Yep, that's true. It could be like a small shuttle on a trip or something. Ooh, if it's just seen in an AI, we need to conserve power. Well, that's easy for me. You just turn me off. But we've got to figure out what to do about you. Yeah, that might not be a bad thing. Then we can have this sequence right here be here. maybe here. Maybe even take this, move it here. That's how we transition out. All right, but I still kind of want one. This is a long scene too. There's a lot of reliance on the pilot house. I'm like trying to figure out how I can move the story forward. I mean, I guess if we're on the ground, on the bridge, tactical, which is upstairs on that second story in the bridge, tactical would be the one that would probably be receiving messages in from the Bregman. And maybe that's part of it. It's starting to form in my head here, guys. So okay, real quickly, to those of you who've worked shipboard, I guess really anything that happens that the bridge sees, they pretty much would be okay with telling anybody who's on the bridge. The only reason I say that is because signal comes in from the Bregman, you know, hey, Kittiwake, we're showing up, and then you know the long range telescopes at that moment sees a huge burst of X-rays, you know, which would indicate something like a reactor explosion. Then you'd probably go, that's fishy. But you probably could say, because she's on the main deck. The captain's on the main deck. Tactical's upstairs. But I always feel it's a little cliche to do the, "Sir, we see something. Come here to my station." It's like, wouldn't you just say pipe it to the main screen? Like, I know that somebody in that situation wouldn't say, "Sir, there's been an explosion," because you don't want to jump to conclusions. As a scientist, you would say, "We've just gotten a large burst of X-rays with this," or something. You wouldn't want to jump to the conclusions because you want the captain to make that decision. But I'm kind of thinking this one through. What would happen? We can always fuss with the what-ups and whatevers. This won't happen here, though, because I'm going to move this to the other side. I've got to think of something here. All right. Time interval. Problem is, distance is counted off in my series by light seconds. So $5.5 million miles in AUs. That's not right. It's saying 0.06 AUs. Well, I know for a fact that 1 AU is 8, right? So It's 8 light seconds to the sun from here. So 0.06 is probably not right. I'm just saying your math might not be on correctly here. It still says 0.06. Yeah, that's it. 6.011. Why are you coming up with 0.06011? Because it should be 6 AUs out, right? So 40 AUs. That's not bad. Let's do the math on this one. So the Oort cloud would be at 320 light seconds. Let's write that down. Your stop point is 300. Why are you not writing? Oh, because you're selected. $320 times 8 is 2,560. It will take less than an hour to get out to that at not even. So if we go, we want to go 2,500. What do we do now? 2,560. So 2,560 seconds. Yeah. Nobody wants to talk about light seconds. Because I can't get my time dilation calculator to go. Do I have a list of all the home ships? Not a comprehensive one. I should make one somewhere along the line, because there's a couple of different types of home ships. You know, there's like the standard classic home ships, like the Polaris and those guys. But then there's like the military home ships, which don't. They're designed to do a completely different thing. Those home ships look different and are ones that you'd see in combat drops. So then there's, of course, the Deus Thati have old home ships that they use. So they're retrofitted. So there's a bunch of different kinds of them. And I don't think any two home ships look the same. So, you know, they're sort of the basic flower design, but some of them are a little different. So, would you like me to create a list of all the home ships? Because I mean, that might not be a bad idea. I am doing math and it's making my head hurt. Just wondering. I think right now I have 6 of them in my head. I have to go look them all up, but there's 6 of them because there's a home ship that's in the story that I'm writing for Patreon. There's, of course, the 2 home ships that we're talking about here because the Kittiwakes out of the Polaris and the Brayton is the one that shows up. The Polaris, and then the Brayton shows up, and then the military home ships have different names. They're not named after navigational equipment. They're named more after weapons. Gives an idea of what they are. And then the Deus Thati just named their home ships whatever they need. So. We need 320 light seconds. No, do we? Yeah, see, your math is screwed up. 320 light seconds, it says, is 0.6 astronomical units. That's not right. I'm guessing that's 64 AUs, really? Should be 40. This is why I'm having a problem. You're not sure what your math is. One of them might be. Okay, here's what we're going to do, because I'm having a hard time believing these guys know what they're talking about. Alrighty. Let's do 299,792 times 320. It makes that 95 million. And what's the distance of Pluto? Is that part of our problem here? That might be part of our problem. And 3.7 billion, right? So we're not, that's part of our problem, is that we are going, one of the maths is not doing right the first time. And like, really, guys? Somebody's not doing this correctly. And this math is definitely not right on this web page. So no easy math out for this one. Because Pluto is 3.7 billion. $5.9 billion kilometers. $150 million per AU. Let's see if that's correct. Yep, that's about right. Bah. 150 million divided by 299,792. So 499 light seconds. So we would call it the 500 light second line. That's more accurate. Man, why am I having to do all this math manually? Holy cow. Because I like the 500 light second line. That's a good average. It's a good round number for distance. It makes for a good clean. That 500 light second line is the jump line. So you can't jump in space until you've cleared 500 light seconds. That's further than the orbit of Pluto. Still inside the orbit of Quasar, but at least you'd be in the orbits of the outer Oort cloud. And so that 500 light second line is good. That's a good solid number. And that's the jump line. So we're going to dump that. Now we just have to figure out how to make this converter give me 500 seconds in the right place. Yeah, and at 12% salinity, or 0.12, well, yeah, 12%. At 12% C, it only dilate to 503 seconds. So you'd lose a whole 4 seconds of time in the dilation. So that's not bad. So we could travel 500 seconds at 12%. And I mean, no matter what, you're not going to be able to beat 500 seconds. It's still going to take 500 seconds. But I mean, legitimately, it's 8 whole minutes, right? 500 seconds starting now. It'd be a 10-minute flight to the jump line at 0.12 salinity. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. I mean, which means that I could put fighters out there, and the fighters could go out there in time. So at the jump line being 500, now that the kittiwake is grounded, she could dispatch Moment's Coast Guard effectively to go see what's going on out there. That wouldn't be bad. You get Moment's Coast Guard to go out there. 2 Mustang fighters and an MPV. They could pull. I mean, I'm doing this right? 500 seconds isn't that long. You wouldn't eat up much budget at all either. And frankly, the difference between that and 2.5 it's only 16 seconds at 0.25. Wait, I'm doing something wrong. Dang, I hate math. Okay, let's try this again. Go over here. 500 light second line, because we're missing a piece. Right? At the 500 light second line, we can erase this part. Okay, think it out. The budget 16 for 25, so 0.25 C means that we'll arrive there at a quarter or 1/4 of the total time, right? So if it's 500 seconds, you'd have to multiply that by 4, which that still wouldn't be bad. But you wouldn't reach it in 500 seconds. That's light speed, right? So 500 times 4 puts us at 2,000 seconds. 2,000 seconds divided by 60 is still 30 minutes. So this becomes 30 minutes, or technically 33, with a 16-second budget loss. At 0.12, that's times 8, which I don't know why I'm using this for this, but that's 4,000. 4,000 divided by 60 is an hour. So this becomes 1 hour. or 66 minutes. But this only has an 8-second budget. All right. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about how we operate in Doodlywop, in Berlatrix Rising. If you're using the donkey drive, that's throwing the ball, you DM'd me something. Please tell me it's a better calculator for time dilation travel. You just have here expand on it for the short. Nothing else has shown up yet, so I'm assuming. All right, then you know what we need to do. We need to go make a grid. This is the way it goes. It's all right. I'll make a grid for this. Then it won't be a problem. Just take one of these quote blanks that I use all the time for everything. And we're just going to say, right, we'll drop this guy down. I've been meaning to do this for a while. Ugh. But it's mathy, and that makes me uncomfortable. So, and budget. I need to get Bishimoda on here. Bishimoda could check me on these things, but that's all right. We will save as. Oh, it's taking a second for it to come up. Where's Zoom? Hit my phone. So All right. So let's do. I still haven't seen anything. It's not going through. Um, we're gonna work this out because this is a grid, but it's not that big of a grid. It really doesn't need to be that difficult. So if we sit here and do this way, and we say distance and speed. Is that what we want? Is that what we want? Do we want that? Distance and speed? No, because it just needs to be speed and a fixed distance, 500 light years, let's say. There, it should be there now. Let's see. There it is. I have downloaded this. I will read it later. Because it's spinning up Microsoft 365, which might be difficult. Anyway, moving in on this one, what we should have is this should be, you know what? Let's just stop this. Get you down to something reasonable on this one, like 10 point, like a normal human. Per 100 light seconds, right? So make that and go boop, 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 boop. And say yes. That's fair. So per 100 light seconds, every 100 light seconds would be, or should it just be 500? We already did it. We already did the math for the 500 light seconds. But then I feel like you can't, well, how far is a parsec versus a light second? No, we just need to go on light seconds. Everything's going to be in light seconds. I'm very confused and worried about Google, which is saying that it's 0.002 or 2/100ths of an AU is a light second, which means that what it's saying essentially is we are 200 seconds from the sun. I know we're not 200 seconds from the sun. We're 8 seconds from the sun. So how is one astronomical unit, which by the way, an AU is the distance of the Earth to the Sun, that should be 1/8 or 0.0 or 0.8, right? No, not 0.8. Point. So the converter here is, I'm having a problem with this because it's like, well, no, wait a minute. Because it says 1/10 of an AU is 50 light seconds. That's not right. It should be 1 light second is 1/60th. That's their problem, is I don't think they've justified a light second. They're saying 300,000 kilometers. Well, no, that's right. Should be 300,000 kilometers because that's the speed of light is 300,000 kilometers a second. So that's easy. That's straight up, right? Or 299,479. An AU is millions of miles. I have been lied to, people. I have been lied to. Yeah, we're 8 minutes from the sun, not 8 seconds. That's where it is. That's my problem. Well, that's an easy fix. All right. So 500 light seconds is not far enough. Right? That's not far enough. Now I see where our mathematical problems are. I was off by a factor of 60, which makes sense. Okay, so per 100 light seconds, we're at 8 light minutes. That's a different story. But this is good because if you can travel within budget. But the faster you go, the more budget you eat up. And that does put the edge of the solar system a good significant chunk to the light line, which is what I really wanted. Okay, so let's do our math. We'll add a layer out here and start writing crap down until we figure this all out. So this is going to be in a different layer, and I know I'm going to have to leave pretty soon. You're going to have to go to lunch. I'm going to have to leave too, but I want to finish this before my brain loses all of this stuff that we just learned. Okay, so $320 light minutes to Pluto. Let's put Neptune in, or Oort cloud. Okay, so the Oort cloud for us is at 1,000 light minutes. So 1,000 light minutes to Oort cloud. That's going to be our light line. So becomes relatively easy math at this point. At least I hope. No. And that makes this 60,000 light seconds, right, to that light line. This is where we do the how long is viable for reasonable travel, right? So at light speed, at the speed of light, 1,000 divided by 60, that's 16 hours, right? So 1 to 1 is 16, almost 17, 16.6 hours. Okay. So if you go speed of light, you could make it there in 16 hours to the light line. You take 16.6 times 4, and that's 66 hours. That might be... that's pushing it. Now you take 16.6 times 8, you get 132 hours. Which is an entire week to get to the light line. This may not be what I want to do. I may have to bring that light line in. Hey, Sansi. What's a reasonable... I mean, I feel like a day is a reasonable travel time from a planet to a light line jump. So what I probably should look at is how far can I travel at 1/12, which would be 12% the speed of light. Man, this is a lot of thinky going on. My brain's starting to kind of hurt a little bit. But I want this to be straight, and I want to set a rule. So I better do this right the first time. I'm doing all right. Yeah, more world building, but this should be temporary. This shouldn't be that long. And it's because I don't want to just make up numbers. I hate that. I mean, I can make up numbers for where the jump line is. And we can even say that it changes per distance from a star. So the larger the star, the farther out the jump line is. which would make sense. The bigger the gravity well, because it's really about the gravity well of the star. So it's going to be all about mass for the jump line, and that's where it's going to be. So Sansi, we're talking about my mythical space engines in my comic. They have a line around a star whereby you cannot make a in-space jump. That's what I'm going to have. So we can't jump inside this line to the faster than light drive. And I'm trying to determine about where that is. And I'm kind of trying to do it because, I mean, you can't, it's how far inside a system you have to travel using a normal space drive. And in normal space, you have to deal with good old Einstein and his theory of relativity. And we have time dilation. So you can go at 1/12, where it's 1/12 the speed of light, or 12% salinity doesn't give you a lot of dilation. And the biggest problem with dilation is this: if I start traveling longer distances, I start eating up your life, your experiences, everything you do. The faster we go, the more that, we traveled 5 days worth of travel in one day. So you only lived one day, but the rest of the world lived 5. So at that speed, you would lose 4 days of life, so to speak, of which you missed it. If you do that too much, culture will shift out from underneath you. You'll lose relatives. It becomes one of those things where you spent so much time at light speed that your entire family died and you lived only 1 extra year. So between the ages of 21 and 22, everybody you knew died. All of your parents, your grandparents, your children, anything like that. So the military has what they call a budget. They can only run at light speed or close to light speed for X amount of time. They can't run high speeds without eating through budgets. And so you start kind of weighing in your crew and how many people are on budget and off budget. And that's when we start transferring people out. Like, for example, you join the military, and I promise you I will only use 10 years of your life. It doesn't matter whether you served for 1 year or not, but if you burned, high-speed burns inside systems, then you've used up 10 years. So after 1 year of being in the military, we discharge you because you've spent 10 years in the real world. So that's kind of one of the things we have to think about. It's called budgeting, and it's time dilation budget. So that's what we're working on right now. How far out is my mythological jump line? So inside this jump line, everybody has to live inside the budget. Outside the jump line, you're at warp speed, so it doesn't matter. But when you're not at warp speed, you're having to figure out whether we're at cruising velocity, which doesn't eat up as much time of your life, or whether we're in, let's get there faster, which would eat up more of your life. In this instance, it's because the Unity values your time. Your time is valuable. It's not just that they used up 10 years of your life. It's that you didn't experience those 10 years. So all of the things that you would have done, all of the things that you would have invented or said or written or, composed, or anything you could have done in those 10 years would be lost. So they have to value it. You have to have some amount of time where you experience things. So it's about experiencing and living life. So that's what I'm trying to calculate here, is where's that line? Because we know that moment is in the Goldilocks zone. So it's already, we're at moment. We don't have to worry about that. We just have to worry about moment to the light line, and we can make that line mythological, and we'll just invent it and all will be good. It also means, though, that it's important that Renum, which is the home world that's going around Bellatrix, the star Bellatrix, Renum has to be far enough out, which is fine because right now Renum is a moon that orbits one of the gas giants, which means that it's light line still, because Bellatrix is an O-class star, so it's huge. It's huge and heavy and young, and it's going to have a big gravity well. Anyway, I can do all this math, I just need to think about it. I need a second here to think this through. Because what we need to know is you can travel 1,000 light minutes, which is how many AUs? AUs help us a lot. Hi. Which is 1/12, right? Hi, George. How you doing? You too, huh? Yeah? You doing cool? You doing cool? You a cool cat? You a cool cat? You a cool cat? So, we get, of course, 8 light minutes to, that one's easy. 8 light minutes to this 1-to-1 unit. No, that's not going to help you like you think it will. There's no room up there. Do you just want scritches? I'm going to come over and scritch you. Oh my gosh. There we go. I'll give you scritches. Oh, what a cat. Oh, yeah. Would you like to come over here and get scritches? Like I could hold you and give you scritches. You could stand here with me for just a minute or two. We could go all scritchy. Look at you being scritchy. So, you're a good cat, George. I mean, I wish you'd leave my water things alone, but, you know. We do what we can. Do the quick math. 16.6 divided by 8 means you go about, and it takes about 2 hours to go an AU 1-to-1. That doesn't sound right. No, we're not going the right direction here. Brent says hi. Do you say hi to Brent? No, you're watching stuff outside. More important things going on outside, Brent. Sorry, you are a second-class citizen now. There's nothing you can do about it. Okay, so it's 8.3 exactly. And I'm willing to say that if we were to do let's go the other direction. What if we were to take, we know this is 1 AU to the planet moment, right? So this is 1 AU. And we want this at 12% to equal about, I don't know, maybe 12 hours or so. So 12 hours. That makes some sense. So the light line will have to be pulled back. And we'll call this the MT line because it's the empty line. Okay. That's the Mason-Telly line. That's the line where the Mason-Telly field generators can work. The MT line will be where it's going to be a factor of the gravity well, where the star is. There's a point at which a spaceship can, once it gets to a gravity well, can escape. That's the MT line right there. Okay, so if it's 8.3 light minutes is 1 AU, then that should be pretty simple. Right? Hi, what are you doing? Don't chew on plastic, you weird little goblin. 8.3. No. 12 times 60. 720. So 720 minutes divided by 8.3. So 85 or so. 85 AUs. And we'll just set it for about 85 or 86. We'll say Earth, which is a G-class star. Just like Moment, G star equals, it's a G-class, G2 white star. It's a little over class G. So we will say that equals, the MT line is probably right at about, let's just do 85. No, we want more than, so not 85, because we want it to be 90. 90 AUs to be safe. 90 AUs isn't bad. It's not. It is a star. You're funny. Dang. Yeah, so that's still good because 90 AUs puts it beyond Pluto by a long shot. I mean, Pluto's only at 40 AUs, so the MT line's still way outside the gravity, or the furthest planet out. So the MT line on that one will be 90 AUs, give or take, which works. That means that at about 12% the speed of light, you're kind of cooking along here, right? So let's get rid of some of this other math because I'm just confusing myself with this. I don't want that. It's 100 light minutes to the Oort cloud. The Oort cloud is actually quite a bit further. Yeah, the Oort cloud starts at about 2,000 AUs. So we can clear most of the planets. That would be logical. You just need to be outside of the major planets before you can jump for the MT line. So that actually mathematically will work, right? Because for our MT line, it's going to be 90 AUs on a G-class star. Maybe tons? I mean, okay, but I love this. What's the mass of our star? What's the mass of a G-class star? It's 1. Okay. Fine. There you go. So minimum 80 is a minimum. AUs. Standard. Excuse me. Yep, it's totally a thing. But it's like I'm having a hard time kind of coming up with what an O star or a B star would be. Like, so B23 star mass. So I think the funniest part about this whole thing is I typed in Bellatrix mass and it gave it to me in kilograms. And then I had to go hunt for what it was in solar masses. It's just funny. So Bellatrix is 8.4 solar masses. That's the symbol for a solar mass. Which means that this would be multiplied by 8.4. I mean, is it that simple? It's 672 masses, or for a minimum jump. The standard being 700, right? And that makes some sense. Now let's make this work. I've got 5 more minutes to make this work, and then I'm jumping off. If we do 80 times 8.3, this is 664 light minutes. Right? Whereas 90 times 8.3 is 747. Okay. That's putting it really close to that number, which is weird because they just said 1,000 light minutes to the Oort cloud. Right? So if we take 747 and divide it by 60, we get 12.45 hours, which is exactly what I was looking at. It's 12 hours out to that Oort cloud, except that's at 1-to-1. That's at light speed. See, now we've screwed it up again. This doesn't match. This is why I hate when I do the math. Because now it is exactly 12 hours to the MT limit. But the problem with it, of course, is that it's 12 hours at light speed to the MT limit, right? So if we say 12.4 times 8, that's 99 hours. It's 100 hours to the MT limit. That's not what I wanted. So we've scaled out too much. Again. Just looking at trying to get this to work is aggravating. It's like I can't get this to work. I want this to work. It's so annoying. Okay. Maybe what I should do is do another kind of check. Go a different direction. Which is, if we're going to do 12 times 60, so 720 minutes, 720 minutes times 8 means that we can't have a limit beyond 5760 in light minutes. Now see, wait a minute. That just said that 5,760 light minutes is 12 hours at 12% the speed of light. What am I doing wrong? What is my problem here, guys? What am I doing wrong? How do I end up going 1,000 equals 99 hours? But then I go, okay, well then 12 hours equals, and then do all the math, and I end up with 5,760. This is not complicated math. What is my problem? This isn't difficult. How am I screwing this up? How do I manage to do this to myself? Yeah, we do light minutes here, and this is light minutes as well. Like, what am I doing wrong? How do I do this to myself? Okay. This is why every bit of this drives me absolutely bonkers. Okay, and I'm also going to take out everything here, because this isn't helpful anymore. Neither is this. Having the 8.4 masses helps, though. I need a break or food. Or both. A break with food. Look at me breaking with food. This is a brilliant idea on your part, Brent. Thank you very much. All right. Wait for it. Swipe. I'm into the swipe thing. I wonder, can I do a do they have the ability to do the Luma wipe? Is that what it's called? Luma wipe? Okay. Yeah, that's what I want. There we go. That way it can be, you know, so that's Star Wars like. This is me being way too easily entertained. I am way too easily entertained, folks. Okay, I'm going to go away now. I'm going to go back to I'm going to go get food. And then when I've gotten food, I will try to tackle this one more time and do it in some kind of way that's more graphic, because I think my biggest problem is if I don't see it, I can't see where the error occurs. But if I can draw it out, so I've got a star and then dot, 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 this represents 100, dot, 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 this represents 200, I can do this a whole lot better in my brain, because I'll be sitting there going, well, I mean, obviously you can't do this. Where's the problem? So, all right, guys, I will talk to you in a bit, and I will see you tonight. And as always, keep your eyes on the stars. Bye-bye.